TYFU.
Okay, first things first, we have our new segment that we are starting.
We've started.
It's already happening. Okay, It's a little 5-star review for one of our favorite businesses. So what is the business this week?
It's Yvette's business, Earthly Possessions Boutique. Yvette, who we've mentioned many times on this podcast, who will be a guest eventually.
She will be a guest when we can get a hold of her, because she's
so busy at this time of year, because she's selling all sorts of accessories, jewelry,
gifties,
handbags, little
candles,
things,
lip balms, you name it, little treasures that you love to see.
Yes, gorgeous little things.
Owns a business called Earthly Possessions Boutique, and not just a business, a staple in our community.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Earthly Possessions has been in downtown Geneva for 25 years.
Yeah.
25 years.
Yeah.
Could be 26 at this point. I don't know. But almost as long as I have been alive, Yvette has been... Leave me alone. Okay. Yvette has been selling her accessories, jewelry, treasures, and doing a killer job because she's charming and sassy.
Oh, she is charming and sassy. And half the time that I've been alive, Yvette has been selling wonderful gifts. I know. Downtown Geneva. But seriously, we love her. Downtown Geneva would not be the same without her.
That's right.
She has wonderful things. And anytime I need something quick and cute and fast and affordable, I go across the street to Yvette.
Yvette's store is a store that people send their husbands and their boyfriends and their partners in.
And their kids.
And their kids in. And they're just like, just go in the door and tell Yvette you need a gift. And Yvette will figure it out. And Yvette will walk you through that. And Yvette will,
And half the time Yvette's going to know you.
Yeah, half the time she's going to know you. So go in there, or act like she knows you if she doesn't. So go in, or send your husband or significant other in, and you're going to get a great gift from Earthly Possessions. So,
all right.
That's our 5-star review.
5 stars for Yvette.
5 stars, Yvette. 5 stars.
The next piece of business to attend to is to announce that we finally have merch up on the website.
Yes.
We have been dreaming of this day for a long time, and we finally asked Kyle, our designer, at This Illusion on Instagram, to put together some merch for us, and he has kindly obliged. So
it's cute, guys. So for all of you that have been asking for a coffee mug or a t-shirt, your dreams are about to be realized because it's happening, and we will be launching that
probably by the time this episode drops.
Yeah,
that's the goal. So that's at tyfupod.com. And we have a whole other line of things planned, like candles. We're going to be having some TYFU candles.
Yes.
Like, we've got a lot of different smells like ideas, like smells like profit, or,
Just like, it's like positive affirmation candles for people in small business.
Yeah.
So,
and we're looking for ideas too. So we had smells like likes and shares, smells like, what else?
A 5-star review.
Yeah, that's right. That was a good one. So if you guys have ideas, definitely send them to us.
Yes.
Okay. I guess we have to make the sad announcement, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's time to make the sad announcement that this is going to be our last episode.
I'm moving to Boca. No.
Of season 1. Not our last episode ever, but our last episode of season 1, because we've got a very busy few weeks ahead of us in retail.
We really do. In case no one has noticed, it's starting to get quite cheery and smacks of the holidays in our neighborhood.
It's beginning to look a lot like
Christmas. Yes, so we are closing the door on season 1 of thank you for understanding.
Yeah. And I think maybe later in the episode, we will maybe do a little like look back at some things that we have.
A recap.
But for now, let's rip an envelope. Okay.
All right.
You ready for that?
I feel like I've been ripping them lately. I feel like you should do the honors.
I'll handle it. Hand it over.
Yeah. All right. Here you go. It's a heavy one.
Ready. And the topic is, like we just said, Christmas in retail.
Christmas in retail. Mm-hmm. How does that make you feel? Just saying.
Oh, God. I mean,
that's enough.
End of episode.
And scene.
I do want to say before we go too much deeper into the episode, like it's the holiday season, and not all of our customers celebrate Christmas.
That is true.
But it does seem like it's Christmas that really drives the consumerism.
For sure.
Around here in particular.
Yeah.
You know, I think most of our customers come from a cultural background that celebrates Christmas. So,
yeah.
And so do you and I. So that's
true.
what we'll focus on. But
the holidays in retail, but you know, Christmas in retail for all intents and purposes, I think that conjures up the right idea for everybody, whether they celebrate it or not, truly.
Oh,
you can't
true.
get away from it, really.
Yeah, true. Like my Solstice customers are still running into these Christmas shoppers. So
right.
They know what it's all about.
They're still going into Lowe's and seeing the
in August. They started going to Lowe's in August and seeing the Christmas stuff. And that brings up like this kind of annual debate about when to get your Christmas stuff out.
When does it start?
Yeah. And you have been, you've been a purist.
Over this.
In years past, you've been such a purist.
I have.
Tell me about your values and morals.
I'd love to.
It makes for good podcasting.
Yeah. I thought you'd never ask. Thanksgiving is past. So I have held on to like launching my Christmas extravaganza until after Thanksgiving. So that means I have no Christmas merch out. It means my windows are not Christmassy. It means there's no Christmas music playing until the end of November.
Until Small Business Saturday, really, because in the past you've closed Black Friday.
I always close Black Friday.
To decorate for Christmas and get your store ready for Christmas. And then you reopen on Small Business Saturday.
And that's when Christmas comes alive at Marilla's Mindful Supplies in the past. However,
this year you're caving.
This year I'm caving because Beth is peer pressuring me.
Beth is giving you some valuable business advice.
Right. Okay, so yes, this year I don't know if it's just, I don't know what it is, but I feel like it used to be that it was launching super early in like the big stores.
Yeah.
And I would see it in Lowe's and Wegmans and Walmart and all that, the big box stores.
Yeah.
But small businesses would hang on a little longer.
Yes.
But I feel like this year, like the Christmas cannon has gone off and everybody's kind of shifted into Christmas early. And I'm torn because I love Christmas, but it's earlier than
It's strange. There is a shift. Like I think in the past, small businesses we're not going to cave to this corporate consumer monster and get our stuff out any earlier than at least mid-November. Right. And our customers don't want us to. Our customers are also they're going to hang on. They don't want to see all this stuff. They don't want Christmas forced down their throats early. Mm-hmm. I have this because people complain. Mm-hmm. They're like, I can't believe I just went to Lowe's and saw all their Christmas stuff out already. Like you hear that complaint simultaneous to the fact that somebody's in my store looking for stocking stuffers. I hear them talking about it in September and certainly in October. Oh my gosh, this is going to make a great stocking stuffer.
Right.
They're thinking about it.
Right.
They're getting it from in the mall. They're already getting it.
I know. And so
why are we waiting?
I'm kind of on that boat this year too. Like one, I enjoy the cheer and the jolly that comes with the holly, but I also I kind of arrived at that myself. I was like, if the malls are enjoying a bump in sales because people are in the holiday spirit early, why should I be suffering until the end of November holding all my Christmas treasures and not enjoying the sales?
Because I have a new hire in the store, I'll give a shout out to Chelsea. And Chelsea has a huge background in window display. She works part-time for me and she works part-time for another, I will just say, major retailer. Ooh. And it's funny because
it's Dolce and Gabbana.
That retailer has a store at the local mall, and Chelsea was telling me that she was setting up their Christmas stuff in early September, you know?
Right,
so
they're no dummies.
I'm late.
Yeah.
Because the other business she works for is already done with Christmas a month ago.
Oh my God.
More than that
done
now.
With decorating.
But yeah, done with decorating.
I know. What are we waiting for?
I don't know. It does seem like almost like an ethical thing, though. It seems strangely like a moral dilemma. When does Christmas start?
Yeah, and why?
And I don't know why it feels that hard.
Why either? Because for every person that complains about Christmas being up too early, there's another person that keeps their Christmas tree up all year round. So as a whole, what does Christmas in retail mean for you? Does that elicit stressful feelings? Does that elicit joyful feelings? Like, what does that bring for you? Do you look forward to it or do you kind of dread it?
Both. I mean, I mentioned my employee, Chelsea, who works at the mall, and I used to work at the mall when I was a younger person. And I remember hearing at that time that a store that exists in the mall, now this was a long time ago, so who knows in the age of the internet shopping what it's like, but I heard that the stores would lose money all the way through the year and then just make it up so hardcore fourth quarter with sales that it would balance.
The whole year?
The whole year they would lose money.
And
I worked at several different stores in the mall when I was younger. So, I mean, it seemed to be, I only have anecdotal stuff to share, but it seemed like Christmas was so important in terms of their viability. And I sort of feel that a little bit in my store. Now, your store, you mean people need deodorant and toilet paper all year round?
All year round.
So it might be that you're a little bit more even keel all year round.
Nope.
No? You feel it at Christmas even?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
When I first opened, I definitely didn't feel like I was going to be a gifty store because, I carry deodorant, toilet paper, toothbrushes. Pretty boring as far as what you're going to find under the tree. And boy, was I wrong. People just came in and I didn't, because of that, I didn't stock any Christmassy products because I was just like, okay, this is what I have. I don't know if I can actually move Christmas products. We'll just see what happens. And basically my store sold out. All my deodorant and toothbrushes were gone and people bought them as Christmas gifts, not just because they identified with like the plastic free part of it, but because they wanted to support my shop.
Yep.
And so I think Christmas in retail can be very heartwarming in that sense. People, for as much crazy mall, big box consumerism as there is also a lot of awareness around shopping small and romanticism about going around to the local stores. And I definitely experienced that. I still experience it. Now I'm not as surprised as I was the first year, but...
Well, what I was going to say is so in terms of the profit, the fourth quarter profit, I enjoy making a whole bunch of extra money, but I'm also acutely aware that money is going to carry me through the lean months.
Yeah.
And so I feel the joy of making the money for sure, but also the stress of what if I don't make enough? What if I don't make enough? What if I don't make enough? And every sale counts and every sale counts. So you're so hungry to stay open late,
Does it ever get weird?
Open
like,
early.
do you ever do weird things for customers through Christmas and
Of
retail
course,
season?
because they ask for weird things too. It's like, I need 7 pictures framed by tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, sure thing, no problem.
All right, Santa and his elves are going
I'll be here till midnight, but that's fine because I got to grab it while it's here. Like,
your Christmas needs to be perfect.
yes,
So now
yes, here I am for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I take so much responsibility for some stranger's Christmas being perfect.
I know.
Like, I get weird about it.
I had a person last year, you're just reminding me, come to my house and pick something up at like 9:00 at night because that's when they were going to be passing through. It was a complete stranger to me.
Oh,
I'm
perfect.
exhausted because it's December 23rd, but I'm like, yes, by all means, here's my home address. Give me your credit card number over the phone so that you can come to my house later.
I know. It gets weird, but I think it's that feeling of like, one, we get very personal with our customers and we want their Christmases to be perfect.
Yes.
But two, like you said, the fourth quarter is directly before the worst quarter of our year. And so it's a little bit like, I feel
like a squirrel in the winter, just like, you got to grab it all, hoard it away.
Beaver building a dam, but it's the same feeling. It's this primal, gathering survival instinct that it's not really about the consumerism and the dollar sign. It's just about making enough to get through that first quarter. So it's a wild ride emotionally, but I love it. I think I can say without a doubt, I love it.
It's sort of strange to be on like a 6-week constant high in a way. Like you're just so amped the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like a real bender.
Yeah.
You
go so hard and it's like, that it's going to be crazy, but every single year somebody surprises me with their generosity. Somebody surprises me with their audacity. Someone surprises me. Like one time, this guy, he called me one day and he needed a dozen gift baskets. Each box had all these things in it. And he was like, and can you gift wrap this? I don't gift wrap things.
Oh.
And of course I said, of course I'll gift wrap. So in one day, I called in my mom, I called in my sister. We put together these gift boxes and gift wrap and got them out the door. And it was totally unreasonable of this guy to be like, hey, can you get these to me? I think it was like 12 hours I had. But then he showed up like 2 days later with like 5 plates of Christmas cookies. He was a baker and he brought me 5 plates of Christmas cookies. And he said, I hope this makes your gift giving season a little bit easier. This will take some gifts off your plate. And it was so nice.
I used to feel so resentful of the life that I chose in that way because like I was saying earlier, you were agreeing with like you got to grab all that money while it's there. It's like you're in one of those like wind boxes with money
machines.
You really just got to grab it all while you can because sooner or later the clock is going to hit December 26th.
And every now and again, the candy cane slaps you in the face.
So you feel frantic about it,
right?
And
totally,
you don't know how to.
Pump the brakes?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. You really have to think before it starts how you want your season to look and feel. And not that you can control it all, but I mean, a few years ago, we had this brilliant idea that we were going to do this little sampler box of low waste items and we were going to do a subscription. Great idea. And people did like it. And then the holidays hit. And people wanted 30 of them.
Oh, gosh.
And then people wanted a dozen the next day. And then people wanted, 25 the next day. And I was sitting there on the floor. And, of course, they were all wrapped in brown paper and very cute. And I was sitting on the floor. I was only open Tuesday through Saturday. And all Sunday and Monday was just packing these boxes And I think that was probably my first or second Christmas in retail. And I was truly by myself, just having to call my husband, my family members in and help me. And I really got myself into a pickle because it was too much. And I the Christmas night happened and I was like, okay, well, who's ready for Christmas? Like it was like gone in a flash. So,
yeah,
I mean, I guess it's just be intentional about what you're offering and don't underestimate the demand for certain things that you offer. Like I was thinking, oh, what could people want? Like 4 of these boxes? Like who's going to care? And then Christmas came and it was like out of control.
It's interesting though, like one thing that I have in my mind while we're talking is that maybe 8 years ago, I wrote this blog post when I still was doing a blog about the vast difference between Christmas money captured by the small Main Street retailer and the Christmas money captured by Amazon and Walmart. And it was literally made me sick to my stomach how much money was being made per second by Amazon.
Yeah, I hate to look at those numbers.
Yeah, I don't remember it off the top of my head. I've probably blocked it, and this was pre-pandemic
but anyone
too.
Can Google it.
Yeah, and you should Google it because that's how much money is leaving your local economy, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's stunning.
Yeah.
But I wrote this blog post, and I wrote, and I mentioned maybe 10 or 15 businesses, local businesses, and gift ideas from each one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember this?
I remember you went viral.
I went viral with this.
Yeah,
it had like 20,000 shares or something.
Yeah.
This little...
And then here you are doing this podcast. What happened, Beth?
How the mighty have fallen, right? But it was wild. On Facebook, it was wild. And maybe that was the heyday of Facebook when I did it. But I was surprised that it went viral because it was so hyper-local to Geneva, New York. It mentioned only local businesses.
Yeah.
But I think it reminded people that this is important to think about where the money is going. It's just going into this huge vacuum of Walmart and Amazon. Yeah. This huge vacuum that you never see back in your local community.
Take a few of those dollar bills before you put them in the vacuum and put them in the wind machine. That is
that's your local economy because we need you to.
Yeah.
We need you to so that we can get through the lean months.
Yeah.
And if you don't, like not to be all dire and nightmarish.
Get dire.
But you don't want your downtown to be empty.
Yeah.
And when people complain, oh, there's nothing downtown in small town America, wherever they live. Oh, yeah. It's because all your money's going to Walmart and Amazon.
Yep. I feel exactly the same way. And I preach that every chance I get. Yeah. So for as much as we can say that Christmas in retail is something to laugh about, something to roll your eyes about, something to cry about. Yeah. Have you cried?
Oh, I sure have.
Have you cried?
I sure have. Like, you're so exhausted.
Yeah.
And there's always something that doesn't get done. You know what I mean?
Yep. You name it. Yeah. Or something hits you wrong.
So burnt by the end of it. Yeah. Now let's talk about this though. You and I both, and many of our neighbors, close after Christmas.
Hell
and
yeah,
let's
I do.
talk about that.
Yeah.
I try to close for 2 weeks after Christmas.
I do too.
Yep.
I do too. I love it. So yeah, heading into the Christmas season, I can recommend nothing more than if you need time, not everybody does, but if you need time, take the time off. That takes a toll on you when you feel like you don't get a break or a holiday, especially when you've been through a really hard season, even though it's joyful and fun and crazy. So after Christmas Eve, I lock the doors for 2 weeks. Sometimes it's 2 weeks and 2 days.
So what I do is lock the door for about 2 weeks, depending where it is on the calendar. And the first week, I actually do all those holiday things with my family.
Yep.
That I didn't do
leading up
in
to
the
it.
weeks before.
Yep.
And then, of course, there's like, I do a deep clean of the store. I do a year-end
classic
inventory.
Classic.
Yeah. So it's not exactly taking it off because you catch up on all the family stuff.
Ugh, yep.
And then you need the time to like undo Christmas decorations. You know, like your store needs
then it's not Christmas anymore.
Yes. So
although I have a hack for that.
Oh, you do? What do you
do?
Set the place on fire?
Yeah.
That's my hack.
Burn it down.
Yeah, do winter windows. That's
do
a good
winter
idea.
windows. I'm doing winter windows. But yeah, the 2 weeks after Christmas is a nice time to reset. I tell my customers, I include them in that decision. And, you know, sometimes I have people that are like, oh, my family's in town. I wish I could come shop with
I've
you.
heard that a million times.
Ugh.
It's like,
I don't know
I'm
your
sorry
family.
about your family not being able
But
to
what
come
about
down
my
and
family?
shop. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, my family hasn't seen me in 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I found this very, very difficult, especially when I had a little child.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I sometimes just didn't even have the energy to muster to decorate my own house.
Yeah.
Which is why I decorate my house so early now. My Halloween comes down and Christmas goes up at my house because I have to do it while I still feel like a little bit of enthusiasm for the season.
That's a great point. You said that to me earlier today, and I have been thinking about it. And my poor husband doesn't even know what's happening because we're gonna do Christmas early because I do love Christmas and I love to feel like I'm in a nice, warm, cozy Christmas special. Mm-hmm. But I don't always have energy to decorate my house when I get home from work and I've just decorated a store and blah 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 blah.
Or it's 2 stores in your case.
Or 2 stores. Yeah. So what we're about to be in the thick of it. Like Small Business Saturday is near approaching.
Right around the corner.
A lot coming up. We are about to hit the home stretch here for Christmas in retail. What are 3 big things you've learned through your years of Christmas in retail besides decorating early? If you were just going to rattle them off. I'm writing this down.
Yeah, I think it depends on where you are financially, of course, but I have made myself get better about kicking people out. You know, I'll extend my hours around this time of year, but if I'm staying open till 7 and it's 7:01, I'll kick people out. And it used to be in the olden days because of that money grab situation.
Yeah.
I would just stay open till 9:30.
Yeah.
You know, if there are bodies in the shop, I would stay open.
Yeah.
And so I've learned to set boundaries.
Love a boundary. Set a boundary.
Mm-hmm. I have learned to forgive myself for my own exhaustion. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. Because you miss things and...
And sometimes it, like we've talked about on other episodes, it hurts people's feelings when you say no to this event or that event. But I can't like die in that store.
Protecting your rest.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
Yep.
And I know that I'm just not good at my job if I feel super stressed out.
Yep.
Right. And my family and friends have to understand. And if they don't understand, that's on them. There's always next year.
There's always next year.
Right. Like at the end of every season, I'm like, oh, shoot, if I had only thought of X, Y, or Z. And so I've started as relates to that because I'm still only on 3. But as relates to that,
I'm going to go get a drink of water. Right. You keep going.
Right after Christmas, I write a list of
that's
things
a great idea.
to remember
For next year.
That last year, I have it right on my bulletin board. What do I need to order 3 times as many of?
Yeah.
And I had like X, Y, and Z product.
Yeah.
And because you know what? When you sell out of them and then you go try to reorder them, shipping's delayed.
It's gone.
And
It's
it's
over.
back ordered forever and you can't get it. So I just told myself, this was your best seller last year. These were your 5 top sellers last year. Order 3 times as many. And I
Smart.
was so glad I did that.
Yay.
I'm like, what does past Beth do for future Beth?
Yep.
Past Beth writes a nice little list.
That's right. You did yourself a
And
favor.
like, I want to thank all of our customers too, because I know a lot of our customers are listeners, and like, we need you at this time of year, and you show up, and we're
it's
really
great.
grateful.
We're so grateful. Yeah, I have one, and to add to yours, I think I agree with all of yours.
Oh,
Yours
okay.
are really great.
Yeah, what you said, Beth.
What you said, but double. Find the things that you love about the season and ride those highs. Like, I love when people come in and put together a really personal gift. I love when someone includes me in some kind of very special celebration and I get to be the one that does the gifts for that. I really love that. It's super wholesome. I love when people bring in a family recipe for me to try, like a cookie or all those little wholesome things. I have this man who makes his grandmother's caramel recipe as soon as the weather gets cold enough. And he goes around town and he offers everybody caramels, and they're wonderful. That's something that I associate with the holidays.
I know you told me about this man
I know,
on
I'm
episode
sending
6.
him your way.
On episode 6,
Haley,
gifts.
yes, gifts. Haley texted me the other day. Haley is our manager in Geneva, and she sent me a picture of some caramels in her hand. She said, look what I've got.
Season.
'Tis the season. So latch on to those ooey gooey things and enjoy it. It is just a flash in the pan, and it is so important, and there's so much pressure about the holiday season because, yes, it's going to see you through the next dry spell, but it is a lot of fun, too.
It is a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
I remember, here's a memory of when the select choir, the high school choir, was doing caroling. I don't know if you had this in
love
your
a
store,
carol.
but the whole choir just files into the store. They do 3 numbers and then they file out again. Like there's like little moments of community.
Or that year that the sleigh bell, the horses were taking the sleigh bell or the wagon rides around town, and yeah, they had a line for hours to take
Just the
little
this
jingle
little
bell
wagon
rides
ride around town.
the block. Those things are so sweet, and so take those little snapshots and enjoy it. And so to button up the whole Christmas and retail topic, saga, diatribe, I think we should talk about our first candle.
Yes,
our first candle that we're launching,
which smells like Christmas in retail. Which
makes me laugh.
Actually, makes me look forward to Christmas in retail. The idea of having a candle that smells like Christmas in retail. So we're going to have that custom made for us.
Yes, by a local maker. Burn and Bloom Candle Company is making us these beautiful little tin candles
that we're going to have for sale on TYFUpod.com.
And I believe in store.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can get them in person if you're nearby. So these are cute little hand-poured coconut wax candles, and it's TYFU. Smells like Christmas in retail. And
it's a custom scent.
It's a custom scent.
That is, I think we worked out balsam and honey spiced pear, right?
Yes,
and there's a reason for this.
Yes.
Because
Walk us through
it's a little Christmas with the balsam. It's a little sweet with the honey.
Like us.
It's a little spicy with the spice.
Like us.
And it's a little fruity with the pear. And it was like
us.
what could be more Christmas in retail TYFU than balsam honey spice pear candles?
Oh.
So, okay.
We're so excited. So
I can't even, I don't even want to sell any of them. We will make them available. But
you can come and smell them,
if
but
they
you
don't
can't
sell, I'll
have them.
just hoard them all. Yes, I'd be happy to do that.
Yep. So keep an eye out. That is our first candle that we're launching, and it'll be available in stores and at tyfupod.com.
Yeah, sounds good. You reminded me of episode 6.
Gifts. Yes.
Gifts. And that made me feel nostalgic. It made me harken back, Marilla.
As we have so many times before. Yes.
Yes. And I think since this is the last episode of the season, we should talk about, the podcast in general.
The
what
golden
we've learned.
Years. Yes.
What we're looking forward to in the future.
Yeah.
You have any thoughts about what we've learned during this journey of podcasting? It was about this time last year. I remember you and I had the idea, and then we're like, let's talk about it after Christmas.
After Christmas,
we will sit down. We can't think about anything during this time of year.
Yeah.
So we'll sit down in January
and see if we still like each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't know when you met with Kelly Walker, and you're like, Beth has this lame idea for a podcast, but here's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, when I steamrolled the whole project. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I wasn't convinced anybody would want to hear about the behind the scenes stuff.
The isms.
Yeah. The difficult customer interactions or the stresses of running a business. I thought we were supposed to keep all that private. And you're like, no, the world needs to know this.
Look at us now.
Yeah, how far we've come.
Yeah, nothing is private anymore. It has been quite a journey. I think we have learned that our customers want to hear what is going on behind the scenes. They want to hear that the back room is on fire.
That was surprising to me. And also I sort of thought when we agreed on what the general format was going to be, I thought it was going to be only other small business owners who would want to listen. But it turns out that customers are interested, and I guess anybody probably who's ever worked service in any kind of way can relate to it, which is how we've managed to get our strong little tribe of listeners. And this is another thing that surprised me. When we first started, I thought we'd either have 0 listeners or close to 5 million.
Yeah.
I didn't think that we'd have this.
You would.
Nobody cares at all about what we have to say, or else the entire world would be changed forever by our insights and wisdom.
And we're basically white noise. We're so famous. Yeah.
I know. Household name.
Yep. Exactly. Kleenex.
But it's kind of somewhere in between there. We have very loyal people who listen to every episode, and thank you very much to those folks.
And give us feedback.
Yeah. And engage all the time.
Yeah.
It's sort of like our customer basis for our business. You don't need the whole world. You just need people who really get you.
Yes. And I feel like right now we have such a good tribe of people that really get us. Mm-hmm. And so that has been really fun. And it has felt, although I would take 5 million listeners any day.
I'm
fine.
Not saying, give or take.
Yeah, give or take a few. I would say it's felt very wholesome and healthy to get to know our listeners. So thank you to everybody who has been interacting. And that's been really fun to get to know folks.
Mm-hmm.
What else have we learned? Is there something in particular that
I've learned some stuff about you. You're way more hard-assed than I thought. I thought you were a nicer person than you are. You have got
Kelly didn't
ovaries
think
of steel.
Oh, did you say ovaries of steel?
Yes.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, I hope that's a good thing, but I also feel I hope I didn't disappoint you, that I wasn't as nice.
Oh no, I thought you were just as sensitive and weak-willed as I am, but I found out that I come off as I think a little bit harder, but I'm really very soft, and you come off as very sweet, but you're really very hard. That's what I think.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
I think it's true.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
It is fascinating. I would say the same thing. I think I've learned that you have a very tender, ooey center.
I'm just a wreck inside all the time.
And yet here you are on the front lines, just serving our community.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
When you're so sensitive and tenderhearted as me. But you have taught me to be more goldfish-like and more duck with the water rolling off its back like. Yep. So I've enjoyed getting to know you, honestly, even though I thought I knew you before.
I was just going to say the same thing. I think I have come to know you so much better, and I thought I knew you before, and I've discovered so many shocking things about you. It's been a fun time for sure.
Yeah.
And we've learned that Kelly is more patient than we ever thought.
I've learned that Kelly is no joke when it comes to editing. That's quite a big deal.
Has anybody heard our Halloween podcast?
I know.
But truly, there's a lot of talent that goes into this, and Kelly has saved us from a lot of embarrassing embarrassment in general. So the world may never know because he's edited it out. But
unless he does kind of like the bloopers or the outtakes or And in fact, I think a lot of people don't always listen to the end of our episodes, and they may not know that there's little surprises that Kelly Walker drops in.
Yes. So many of our episodes, if you listen just past the final jingle, there's a little outtake, and it's always hilarious. It is always handpicked by Kelly Walker. So not only is it funny to everyone, but it gives you a little inside peek into what makes Kelly laugh. And they're always hilarious. So now you have another reason to go back and listen to all the endings of all the podcasts. So when you're thinking back on season 1, are there any moments that just stop you in your tracks? Good, bad, ugly, the crowning jewels?
Well, you know what, Marilla, this is not the question you just asked me, but I am not going to cry on our podcast.
Okay, great.
I've thought about crying on our podcast before. I'm thinking about it now, but I'm not going to do it. But I would just like to say to you and Kelly Walker and the listeners, thank you so much for this podcast. I've really had a great time.
Me too.
One of the moments that sticks out for me is when we had Jim Hogan on, which was episode 7. And especially now at this time of year where I'm watching the numbers and watching the numbers and watching the numbers and watching the numbers. And how does this year compare to last year and the year before? And I remember Jim, the whole topic was running the business and not letting the business run you. And Jim was talking about the numbers, watching the numbers.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's seasonal, it's cyclical, and it's random. And so for those days where I'm looking at the numbers and it's like I am, doing 10% of what I did last year on this day. Why is that? And I start pulling my hair out. I remember I hearken back, Marilla.
We hearken as we do.
When Jim said it's random. And that was meaningful to me because he had been in business for decades.
Ages.
And that's why we asked him on, because he had this arc of experience. And when he assured me, sometimes it's just random. And you can't get caught up in that. So I really liked that moment. And I used that moment.
I would have to agree. I took a lot from the episode of the Jim Hogan, not about not opening a second location.
Oh yeah, because you went ahead and did that anyway.
That at all. Sorry. Once again, I apologize, but I found that conversation so heartening because of how much he's been through, how he approached his time in small business. But I also loved our conversation with Joe Kennedy from the Linden Social Club.
I found that one very heartening.
I loved that. And something that stuck with me that Joe mentioned, it's hard to pick because there was a lot of surprising things from that conversation. But something that stuck with me was when he said that he realized that it was something like the business was the customer's business. Like it wasn't about what he wanted necessarily. Yes. It was about like serving the customer and what they wanted. And so he had to come down a little bit from his high horse and really serve the customer that was in front of him instead of forcing the customer to just get with the program.
Corral themselves to his expectations.
And I think that's a great check. To me, that is just such a good reminder.
Yeah, at the very least, it's a mutual relationship.
Yes.
Right?
Right. I mean, that episode was about kicking customers out.
Yes, but it ended up being so strangely different than that.
Yeah, it was so great because that whole episode was about sticking up for yourself and your business and your boundaries, but also about
accommodating the customer
and respecting and like bringing humility to the
So
business.
if any listeners haven't heard that one, I think it was episode 4. Right?
I think that was episode 4.
Toxic Lover.
Toxic Lover. Yep. And there's this saucy little picture of Joe on the social media. So I think we got a lot of clicks from that saucy little picture of Joe with Toxic Lover underneath it.
I know. There's lots and lots of moments that we could harken back to. But just listen to the whole season. And
I would like to hear how many moments we've said harken back. Kelly, can we
we should make that a drinking game. And now it is.
Have we harkened back?
Well, what does the future look like for TYFU? I mean, I think we have some things kind of floating around in the ether for next season. I know we have some great guest ideas.
Oh, man. Well, number one is
ideas.
5 million listeners.
Oh, right.
That's number one.
By February.
Yep. By February 1st.
Yep. That's the goal.
So if you guys could share.
Otherwise, it's over.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're done. So likes and shares, please.
Please like, share, follow, stream. We can do this, guys. But we have a lot. We have a lot planned for season 2 already. I'm surprised at how many episodes we have already in the hopper. And some of them I'm excited for just because I can't wait to hash it out with you, Bethany. Mm-hmm. But then some of them I'm excited for.
Yeah, we have guest ideas I'm so curious about what our guests are going to say.
Yeah.
They've been involved in businesses that you and I know nothing about.
Yeah.
And
then we have some episodes that I'm just seeing how much hair Kelly's going to pull out of his head
when we try new and different things.
Yeah, we have some new ideas, and we're going to push the limits of the podcast medium. I don't How's that for enticing?
In the meantime, I'm not sure when season 2 will drop, but in the meantime, I think Kelly Walker has some things planned to keep folks engaged.
Yeah. So definitely stay in the loop with our social medias, which is TYFU Pod on Instagram and Facebook. You can search Thank You for Understanding. Mm-hmm. And of course, TYFUpod.com. You're going to find all our episodes. You're going to find updates. You're going to find our merch.
Mm-hmm. And you can contact us with show ideas, because even though we do have some new ideas and some guests scheduled, we still have a season to fill out. So if you have ideas, if you have people you want to see on the show, if you have topic ideas to suggest to us, by all means.
If you have a pet peeve,
we love a pet peeve.
Just go to the website and submit it in the suggestion box. Yeah. Oh, man. We love it. So, let us know what you love about your small business, what drives you nuts. Put it in the prompts.
Very good. Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
We chat about the biz. It is the way it is. Thank you for understanding.
We sincerely thank you for understanding. Please visit us at tyfupod.com to learn more about the show, share prompt ideas, or tell us about your own small business experiences. We may include your story in a future episode. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube at TYFUpod or on tyfupod.com. Our theme song was composed by Marilla Gonzalez. The show is produced by Kelly Walker. Too bad for Kelly Walker.
We've worked hard on this podcast. It should go on our butts.